Well, I want to welcome everybody to this edition of They Said What? I wanted to share with you probably one of the most moronic things that I've ever had an attorney say to me. Now, with this being said, we deal with attorneys. We have forwarding attorneys that I've dealt with 20 years. Absolutely love attorneys. Our in-house attorney is also my daughter, so I have deep respect for the law profession. But I also am just absolutely amazed at the insane legal theories that attorneys that just are not very versed, for lack of a better word, when it comes to recruiting. This issue deals with a candidate that was placed. It wound up being a backdoor hire. Surprise, surprise. And make a long story short, I'm talking to the attorney, and the attorney's argument is, well, I don't feel like our client owes this because we're not talking about the same person. And I said, well, wait just a moment. If it's not the same person, and if our client has a name incorrect, or I'm not sure if this was one that we had located through the backdoor hire, but if there's a similar name, sometimes you can get a false positive. And I said, so if it's a similar sounding name, I need to get with the client and we can shut everything down. He says, well, it's not that it's not the same, genetically the same person. And as soon as he said genetically that they were the same person, my ears perked up and I started thinking, this is going to be a great episode of They Said What? And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, well, when your client presented the candidate, he didn't have a certain set of skills, so we passed on him. And then when we passed on him, he went and got some additional skills that we could utilize, and he reapplied 4 months later, and we hired him, but we don't feel that we owe a fee because he's really not the same person that we interviewed. And I said, okay, do you disagree that our client has a signed contract? He says, no, your client has a signed contract. And I said, okay, so are we in agreement that the client and this candidate wouldn't have known each other, or the debtor and this candidate wouldn't have known each other if our client had not involved? He says, oh no, he says, we're in total agreement with that. Your client was certainly the one that brought us to this attention, but when he brought us to the attention, or brought this candidate to our attention, he didn't have the skill set that we were looking at. And I said, okay, so you're basing your defense, and we're about to send this out to litigation to our forwarding attorney, and your defense is going to be that he is a different person, that our client presented him, we're in agreement, and our client was a procuring cause, but the candidate reached out 4 months later after he got some certification, and you're now claiming that he is a different person. He says, no, he says, we're not claiming, we are stating beyond fact that this is now a different person. They said, what?